Well, there's some big breaking news at the top of the bulletin. Nitin Gadkari had made a massive announcement. This in retaliation to the Pulwama attack. He sent out a tweet saying that under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, our government has decided to stop our share of water which used to flow to Pakistan. We will divert the water from eastern rivers and supply it to our people in Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. But that's the big breaking news that we are getting for you. Remember, one of the ways of retaliating has been recommended by the experts should be the shutting off of the Indus tap. And there is now intent being shown by the NDA government to do just that. This is going to hit the Pakistani establishment hard if their water supply gets affected. Let's go across to Aditi. Aditi, what are you picking up from the government? How soon is this likely to happen?
Well, this is a big development coming in from the government of India. Remember, the issue of water sharing between India and Pakistan has been an issue that has cropped up on various instances. In fact, the last time also during the Pathankot attack and during the surgical strikes as well, there was a lot of clamor that was growing that India should close its waters that are flowing through Pakistan. And now officially, Nitin Gadkari, who's also the Water Resources Minister, has said that in consultation with the Prime Minister of India, the government has now decided to stop its share of water that used to flow through Pakistan. They have now decided that that water will now be diverted.
Well, do stay on with us, Aditi. Our editor-in-chief, Rahul Shivshankar, also joins us. Rahul, Modi government shown the intent to strike Pakistan and make it hurt where it hurts the most.
Absolutely. This is a massive, massive move. It's in line with the national sentiment here to boycott Pakistan every which way. And this step, viewers, is a step that has been taken to signal India's intent. It's the biggest strike against Pakistan thus far by the Modi government. And it now appears that India is very, very serious about sending a clear message to Pakistan that it means business, that it is going to make Pakistan accountable for the actions in Pulwama. It comes moments after Imran Khan once again struck a very, very strident tone, suggesting that India was misleading the international community over allegations that Pakistan supported the Pulwama attack. But this particular step, where Nitin Gadkari has come out and in no uncertain terms, viewers, said, under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, our government has decided to stop our share of water which used to flow to Pakistan. We will divert water from eastern rivers and supply it to our people in Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. How much of that water can actually be diverted is a matter of debate. India does have some capacity, but it cannot completely stop the flow of water. Now, this will be seen by Pakistan as a dramatic escalation. As a dramatic escalation by India, it will be seen also by Pakistan as a clear sign that India will no longer stand by and watch as Pakistan repeats the games that it has been playing. We will be bringing in Nikunj Garg in just a few moments on this. We will also be going straight across to Maruf Raza, our strategic affairs analyst. We will be talking to a large number of experts to make sense of this. But this is by far the biggest statement of intent. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on this. The Indus Water Treaty is often described as the world's most generous water treaty, viewers, between any two nations, leave alone between two nations in conflict. Why? Because it is lopsided in favor of Pakistan. India gets just 19.48% of the total Indus system waters, is the world's only inter-country water agreement embodying the doctrine of restricted sovereignty, which compels the upstream nation to forego major river uses for the benefit of downstream state. And many people have been saying for a very long time that we must scrap this lopsided treaty. Sushant Sareen also joins the broadcast. Sushant Sareen, how do you see this?
Look, Rahul, the point is that the eastern rivers, in any case, if the water was continuing to flow into Pakistan, that was our mistake. And if we are stopping whatever little is, the water is trickling into Pakistan, there's a lot to be said for it. but it doesn't really alter the Indus Waters Treaty. And the Indus Waters Treaty pretty much stays intact. So I think this is a bit of grandstanding, if from what I've understood right now is correct. Because Eastern rivers were entirely 100% allocated.
But Mr. Serene, as a statement of intent, I think it's quite a dramatic one. It's quite a dramatic one because
but Rahul,
Pakistan is insecure.
No, Rahul, as a statement of intent, this has been declared by the Prime Minister himself, at the hustings during the Punjab elections. So there is nothing new in this statement, really. If the only new factor would have been if the government had, announced its intentions of either suspending or walking out of or reviewing the Indus Waters Treaty.
Well, maybe a step at a time. Sushant Serene, let's not throw all caution to the winds. Escalation, there's much to be said for incremental escalation also. Otherwise, Sushant Serene, there is nothing really to fall back on. There are no aces. There are no aces then left with India to table. Stay on with me. I also want to bring in Maruf Raza. Maruf, coincidentally, we were having this conversation this afternoon when we were going over some of the steps that India could take to signal its intent.
Yeah, Rahul, actually, both you and Sushant have very valid points. One is that any messaging that has to go to Pakistan should not be all or nothing. It can be graduated and it can be brought to bear systematically as Pakistan responds accordingly also. But while Sushant Serene has rightly said that the three bottom rivers of the Indus water system, that is Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, the complete water flow except some limited water flow is allowed to us, whereas the other three, Ravi, Beas, Satluj, we can do as we please with projects. So technically, we are doing what we have been allowed to do, but we haven't done effectively all these years. But this is the psychological impact of such an initiative, because the waters issues since independence has been a very sore point with Pakistan. More recently, you've had the likes of Hafiz Saeed, who've gone on record to say that if they stop, and words to that effect, if they stop the flow of our waters, then they'll have to pay in blood, which means that water is a very sensitive issue, particularly in Punjab in Pakistan. And also, waters in case of Pakistan is now being channelized by China very aggressively in the Indus, in the POK region and Gilgit-Baltistan, where China has initiated 4 big dams, bigger than anything Pakistan has. Pakistan has always gone to the International Court of Justice to try and put India and show India in poor light, even when we have decided to use waters and rivers that we were allowed to do. So I think, here is a very strong message to Pakistan that you can go where you want, but we will use what we want, and if you don't fall in line, we will abandon the treaty.
Well, of course, we will look into whether this will be efficacious enough. But the fact of the matter is that a very firm statement of intent has gone out. Nikunj, no one can deny this. This is perhaps the beginning of a slew of measures that India is going to be taking to punish Pakistan's adventurism.
Well, Rahul, I have physically seen this spot from where this water actually travels into Pakistan. And it is actually not correct to say that India does not have the entire infrastructure. The infrastructure is in place. We have the capacity and the capability to divert, but probably not all of the water that flows additionally into Pakistan. Remember, this is additional water. We are entitled to draw a certain quantity of water under the treaty, which we are not fully exploiting at this stage. So I would say that with this, we will also put an extra additional push to the infrastructure that has been lying in limbo all this while, and to the benefit of our people. And why not?
Absolutely, why not? That's the fundamental question. Colonel RSN also joins this broadcast. Colonel RSN, big statement of intent by Prime Minister Modi. Perhaps the most significant step. The first one was, of course, the withdrawal of the MFN. And I just want to come straight out to you. India has decided to hold back its share of the Indus waters.
The 3 rivers that flow into Pakistan, that is Indus, Chenab and Jhelum, Now, as Nikun rightly pointed out, that the excess of water was also going in. We may not have the wherewithal, the complete wherewithal, to divert the entire water at the moment, but it is not a technologically impossible feat. It may take some time, but the intent is very, very important. And remember, this whole water sharing business was done by the massive machinations of the colonial powers, and who were supplanted by America.
Well, Colonel RSN, blood and water cannot flow together. This is what the Prime Minister had said in 2016 internal meeting on the IWT, which is the Indus Water Tribunal, and it appears that he is now very, very serious about sending that particular message. Blood and water cannot flow together. Talks and terror cannot go together. Blood and water cannot flow together. That's really the linkage that is being drawn here. And we can say that this will actually have a massive impact. General G.D. Bakshi also here with me. The Kabul River originates in Afghanistan also. We know that there are many rivers that come through. There's the Kabul River that comes in from Afghanistan, which Pakistan is wholly dependent on, and the Indus waters, which Pakistan is wholly dependent on. And this is one strike on the Indus side. General.
Absolutely. Rahul, the fact of the matter is, this is within the terms of the Indus Water Treaty. The waters of the eastern rivers were allocated to India. We have been letting them flow into Pakistan for no bloody rhyme or reason.
Yes.
And all that we have not even violated the terms of that treaty. We are full within our rights as per that treaty to take recourse to all the waters of the eastern rivers. They belong to India, and I think we have just about given that concrete shape. It should have been done long ago.
Well, between September 2016, sir, and March 2017, India approved 6 hydro projects on the river Indus and the Chenab. Yes.
Rahul, there is a small point here also. The fact is that when you call the Pakistan's inspection teams during those, bilateral water diplomacy meets, it gives a kind of legitimacy to Pakistan and Pakistan's, overall standing in the International Committee of Nations. With this step, you can completely ban or completely bar the entry of any Pakistani water inspecting teams, which gives them needless leeway into projects. And what in the past they have been trying to do is always put a spoke in the developmental works being initiated for the welfare of people in Jammu and Kashmir. So this is a welcome step in barring those teams which are coming here and literally only creating a song and a dance.
Let me tell you that the Prime Minister in 2016 had said that blood and water can't flow together, after which NOCs were given to at least 6 projects. Nikun, 6 projects. They were fast-tracked. They had been stalled for decades altogether. God alone knows why. And after that, between September 2016 and March 2017, India approved these 6 hydroelectric projects on the river Indus and Chenab. So, by doing so, you create dams, check dams, reservoirs with which you can then begin to divert the waters. Right now, the capacity is not as great, but Pakistan will begin to feel the pinch, viewers. It's not as if it's not going to have an impact at all on the ground. Maruf, psychologically as well as physiologically, this will begin to hurt. Agriculture, the second largest sector of the Pakistani economy, and most of the agriculture takes place in Punjab.
Absolutely, Rahul. Let me bring out a few things. One is that Pakistan claims to be a water-starved country, but really the reality is that it gets an abundance of water, but it's a country which mismanages the water flow. So in all of Punjab, the waters of the Indus and its systems get completely drowned out, and Sindh gets a little trickle and the blame goes to India. Likewise, please understand that Pakistan's intention is not to allow India to make any dams even within the waters that we are allowed, because that will generate electricity, that will improve the lot of the Kashmiris, and the level of disillusionment in Kashmir will then go down and make Pakistan's case weaker when it tries to woo the Kashmiris to say India is doing nothing for you. So we have been decent by many halves by allowing them to get away with this nonsense. Having said that, 19.4.8% of the total waters were allocated to us under the treaty between Nehru and Ayub Khan of September 1960. Pakistan was allocated 80.52%. So by now claiming at least the 19.42%, we are going to be able to achieve a lot in terms of
Union PMO Minister,
energy.
Maruf, just give me 30 seconds. Union PMO Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh joins this broadcast. Dr. Jitendra Singh, massive step by the Modi government. First, you remove the layers of security against Indian nationals. Then, you have decided to revoke the MFN status, and now the biggest step.
Yeah, Rahul, incidentally, both these rivers, which find reference in Shri Gadkari's tweet.
Yes,
Ravi
the eastern rivers.
And Uj, which also happens to be a tributary of River Ravi,
yeah,
are actually benefiting the border districts of Jammu, Kashmir and Punjab. Incidentally, happen to be part of my constituency, namely particularly district Kathua. And what was happening is, to give you a chronology, it's a strange irony. The entire water from River Ravi, because under the Indus Water Treaty, we had 3 rivers which fell in India's share, the 3 others which fell in the Pakistan. So the Pakistan got Jhelum, Chenab and Sindh. India got Ravi, Satluj, Vyas, and Ravi was the biggest river that came to our share. Now, it's also be a question mark on the earlier governments, why they were so careless about it. Ever since the Indus Water Treaty, the entire virtually water from River Ravi was flowing into Pakistan, then West Pakistan, somewhere near Madhopur, which happens to be the border town between Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. And a dam was conceived way back in 1970s. So for 40 years, the Shahpur Kandi Dam, which finds reference in Shri Gadkari's tweet, and it was primarily with the personal intervention of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and we had been following it up for years and years, even with the earlier governments, but it couldn't make a headway. So this is a joint project which is funded by the central government, and the beneficiary is going to be the Kathua district, primarily of Jammu and Kashmir, and the Gurdaspur district on the other side, bordering Punjab. Entire water was flowing in the absence of this dam, and nobody cared to move this forward. So it is Prime Minister Modi's intervention that the work on this dam has started on the Punjab side of the J&K Punjab border. It will be complete in 3 years. So that is one aspect of it. The entire water which was inadvertently flowing into Pakistan would then be held back. The second river, Uj, or UJH as it has been spelled, happens to be a tributary of Ravi. Now here, a dam has been conceived to be constructed, but the utilization capacity or the utilization requirement of district Kathua of Jammu and Kashmir, which happens to be the border district, is just about 1/3 or a little more than that of the total amount of water, which is about 750 MCM, which is going to be available after the construction of this dam. So the manner in which the DPR and the earlier project was planned would have allowed almost 2/3 of water again flowing into Pakistan, now which is also a tributary of river. So I think this is a very pragmatic decision which was taken at a meeting which was recently held. Shri Gadkari was there, the governor of Jammu and Kashmir was there, I also happened to be there, and now a canal system would be put in place so that the surplus water, which is not of utilization to the border districts of Jammu and Kashmir along Kathua, would then be put into this canal system so that it can benefit Punjab, Haryana, maybe even Rajasthan, instead of allowing it to flow into Pakistan. So I think this is a huge course correction. Besides, of course, as you said, it has political connotations, it has technical corrections, and it will also put a question mark on the earlier governments. Why? I mean, at the drop of hat, you would have seen the UPA leaders saying that Pakistan ka pani rok do, etc., without realizing that hamara apna share ka pani bhi was flowing into Pakistan.
2016, Prime Minister Modi had said that blood and water can't flow together. Well, today we have seen the political intent to do just that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for joining us here on our show.